A new oil strategy developed by Russia and Saudi Arabia is expected to reshape the global energy market. The U.S. has suffered a significant blow as a result of this new alliance between the greatest oil producer in the world and one of the largest oil-producing nations. The new partnership between Russia and Saudi Arabia is also the outcome of better ties between the two nations. With their recent meeting on February 1st, OPEC+, Russia, and Saudi Arabia further solidified their alliance. Will the globe change as a result of Russia and Saudi Arabia's game-changing strategy? Has Western social isolation caused Russia to find a partner in Saudi Arabia? What effect will a drop of 500,000 barrels per day have, given the declining demand for oil? Continue watching until the end of the video to learn about the new alliance and plan between the two countries and OPEC+. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman recently had a phone conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin. During the phone chat, the two leaders discussed potential methods by which the OPEC+ group of nations could cooperate to maintain the oil market stability. The OPEC+ ministers' Joint Ministerial Monitoring Committee virtually met a few days later. Furthermore, according to remarks from OPEC+ delegates, the JMMC group is anticipated to recommend maintaining the current oil output target. Last year, the U.S. and Saudi Arabia disagreed over oil output goals set by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies. However, the Saudi foreign minister recently asserted that the kingdom made the right choice, as evidenced by the market's stable oil prices. In spite of this steadiness, there are still questions regarding the effects of recent Western sanctions on Russia's oil industry on supplies. The price limitations on Russian goods that were instituted in December and its conflict with Ukraine are the causes. The potential for increased collaboration in the domains of politics, trade, economy, and energy was another topic of conversation between Putin and the Crown Prince. At their meeting on February 1, OPEC and its allies were expected to maintain their oil production policy. Now, the OPEC+ panel was anticipated to advise on maintaining the current output policy of the oil production cartel. According to 5 OPEC+ sources, the Joint Ministerial Monitoring Committee would talk about the status of the economy and the amount of Chinese demand. They are not likely to propose any modifications to the current course of action, though. This is due to an increase in oil prices in 2023, as well as the uncertainty surrounding the effects of sanctions on Russia and supply. Ole Hansen, head of commodity strategy at Saxo Bank, said that because of the uncertainties, the business prefers to wait and see. They actually want to retain what is working well. In addition, the January 31 Joint Technical Committee meeting has been postponed. The JTC often provides market-related advice to the JMMC and the overall OPEC+ ministerial conference. OPEC+ maintains production levels despite uncertainty in China and Russia. Additionally, Saudi Arabia and its allies will maintain oil output at the levels they reached last year, when they cut it by 2 million barrels per day to balance the market during a recession. According to the Deputy Prime Minister of Russia, the oil market is steady. However, a number of unpredictabilities like inflation, interest rates, and Chinese demand could have an impact. Currently, oil prices have been fluctuating since the start of 2023, rising in the middle of January before falling at the end of the month. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and its partners have adopted a cautious stance as a result of this uncertainty. They did this in spite of predictions from titans of the sector like Goldman Sachs and Trafigura that prices would rise later this year. Goldman Sachs reduced its estimates for the price of Brent in 2023 and 2024 respectively, from $98 and $105 to $92 and $100 respectively. In an effort to raise oil prices, the OPEC+ alliance of oil producers, which also includes Russia, said in October that it would reduce output by 2 million barrels per day. However, by December, prices had dropped below $80 per barrel. Additionally, at a recent online meeting, the OPEC+ Joint Ministerial Monitoring Committee chose to maintain the status quo, which had little impact on crude prices. The easing of COVID-19 lockdowns in China has also resulted in a surge in domestic travel. However, despite a recent increase in virus infections, the economy as a whole is still rebounding. Officials from OPEC nations told Reuters that oil may restart its ascent in 2023 as Chinese demand rebounds with the removal of COVID restraints and a lack of investment restrain supply growth. An increasing number of observers predict a potential return to $100 per barrel. The price of Russia's crude oil was capped by Western nations as a result of its actions in Ukraine. Russia declared that it would begin reducing its oil production by 500,000 barrels per day. In comments reported by Russian news media, Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak said, "As of today, we fully sell all of our crude output, but as we indicated before, we will not sell oil to those who directly or indirectly adhere to the price ceiling. Russia will voluntarily reduce output by 500,000 barrels per day in relation to that." He claims that it will help strengthen ties in the marketplace. When asked if Russia had discussed its new output cut with OPEC Plus members, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov responded that there had been contacts with some members of OPEC Plus before the decision was made public. He made no further comment. After Russia declared a reduction in oil production, OPEC Plus plans to do nothing, two delegates told Reuters. In the very short term, Russia's output cut doesn't mean much because there is a significant refinery maintenance schedule dampening demand today, says Andrew Lippo, president of consultants Lippo Oil Associates. But as we go forward and world oil demand continues to recover, it increases the supply deficit. Prices remained under pressure from economic worries due to disappointing Chinese demand statistics and American recession fears. Gains were also restrained by an increase in weekly U.S. unemployment claims and increased oil inventories. OPEC is also keeping an eye on how the sanctions are affecting Russia. There have been forecasts of lower production as a result of growing EU import restrictions on Russian crude and refined fuels. The good news is that oil shipments have remained remarkably resilient. Leaders of OPEC have emphasized caution in their choices. In fact, Gabriel Mabaga Obiang Lima, the oil minister for Equatorial Guinea, said that OPEC must be extremely careful with any choice. Even though China's recovery has slowed development in some regions, OPEC Secretary General Haytham Al-Ghais is still cautiously optimistic about the state of the world economy. The head of OPEC is cautiously optimistic about where the world economy is at. Haytham Al-Ghais, the leader of OPEC, is likewise cautiously optimistic about the global economy. Although the demand for oil in China is improving, there are still indications of weakness in other regions, according to him. Al-Ghais sees it as a good indicator that the lockdowns associated with COVID have ended in Beijing. He wants to be positive, yet he is still cautious and wants to proceed carefully. Saudi Arabia is also thinking about cutting petroleum prices in Asia for a fourth straight month. The world's top oil exporter, Saudi Arabia, may lower the cost of crude oil sold to Asia in March for a fourth consecutive month. Despite promises of a revival in demand in China, this is due to a combination of low physical oil premiums and worries about oversupply. The official selling price of Saudi Aramco's Arab Light crude oil is anticipated to decrease. For cargoes loaded in March for Asian clients, a reduction of about 30 cents is anticipated. This would lower the price to $1.50 a barrel or less over the average of the Oman prices from the Dubai Mercantile Exchange and Platts Dubai, which is the lowest level since November 2021. The largest oil importer, China, is anticipating a rise in fuel demand. But altogether, Asia still has a low demand for medium-grade oil. In January, the world's largest oil trader, Unipec, began sourcing supplies of cheap crude oil from North America, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. As long as China and India continue to purchase inexpensive Russian barrels, the supply overhang will continue to be a problem in the Asian market. Beginning on February 5, the European Union will no longer accept imports of Russian oil products, which will probably increase Russia's exports of crude oil. Due to worries about a worldwide recession, OPEC Plus is expected to continue its existing oil production policy of reducing production by 2 million barrels per day. Because fuel oil's refining margins have shrunk, the anticipated reduction is bigger for heavier grades like Arab Medium and Arab Heavy. Saudi crude prices affect approximately 9 million barrels of crude destined for Asia. Additionally, Saudi Aramco determines the prices based on suggestions made by customers and changes in the price of its oil over the previous month. Additionally, as a matter of protocol, Saudi Aramco representatives refrain from commenting on the official monthly selling prices of the kingdom. Will this historic relationship between two oil titans rule the future of oil? Comment your thoughts below. And that's it for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to activate YouTube's algorithm and see more of our videos on your homepage. Thanks for watching.